You can
How
start.
many,
I'm
how
sorry.
many,
Go ahead. Let me count you down one more time. I'm gonna cut all that off.
mhm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How many of you are looking for something, that's something concerning health that will make you feel better right now, that will make you feel like a healthier you right now? If you're looking for something to make you feel like a healthier you today, then you're going to want to listen and listen carefully to the information that I will be sharing with you. And we're just going to talk, we're going to have a conversation. It's not going to be any grandiose type thing, but we're just going to have a conversation. So let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I am Arlene Spann, and I am the founder of Arlene Spann Sweats. And what that means to you is that I like to take people through time. And what I mean by that is this: I like to teach, inspire, motivate, and educate people about how they can be a healthier person right now, today. I specifically like to work with the individuals who were like me, having type 2 diabetes, individuals who might have had high cholesterol, individuals who might have any form of ailments that have wreaked havoc in their bodies, and they're just looking for a way out. And they want that way out now. They want that way out today. So I'm going to tell you how I got to be where I am today. Today, I sit before you, or stand or before you, as a 4'11". I've been that for quite some time now. But more importantly, right now, I weigh in at 125 pounds. Now, to some of you, you might say, so what? That don't mean anything to me. Big deal. But I'm saying that to you because I wasn't always 125 pounds. There was a point in my life where I was actually 183 plus pounds, still at 4 feet 11. And during that time of the 183 plus pounds, I found myself sitting in the front of my doctor. And while sitting in front of the doctor with her examination, she gave me some disturbing news. And one of the pieces of news that she gave me, like I stated briefly earlier, was that I was a pre-diabetic. She also shared with me that I had high cholesterol, and she also shared with me, just frankly, Arlene, you are overweight and you need to lose. For some reason, my mind zeroed in on the fact that this doctor now said that I was a pre-diabetic. And I want you to understand the place where I was at this time. I had a grandmother who was a diabetic. My mother was a diabetic. And not only that, my aunt, my mother's sister, was a diabetic. So I came from a place where diabetes was not something that was unfamiliar to me. Matter of fact, it was very familiar to me. It was so familiar that my mother was dependent upon insulin, and insulin in the form of a shot. So was her mother, as well as my mom's sister, my aunt. So at one point, I had administered to all three of them their injections. So in doing so, I see and was able to see the effect that that had upon their life. Now you say, Arlene, what does all this have to do with this summit and the book? Well, I'm going to come to that a little bit later. But what I want to share with you is the fact that because of these ailments that happen in my body, I had to go on a journey and a quest, because my doctor shared with me, she said, Arlene, You have some options, and one of the options that she shared with me was that I could take medication. Well, briefly, I'm going to tell you a story just briefly about my mother. I had the opportunity to be with my mother when my mother passed away. And being with her when she passed away, I was able to see the things that transpired while she was in a rehabilitation center. She was recouping from having had a diabetic stroke. And because I saw the things that transpired and saw what happened with her and saw someone come in and give her medication, I don't know what that medication was. I didn't question her. However, shortly thereafter, my mother would be deceased. So having seen this transpire, I knew that I did not want to be in the place where I was dependent upon medication, where I was dependent upon insulin, or where I was dependent upon injections, or even having someone else to have to administer the injections to me. So I began a journey of taking myself from a place of being pre-diabetic, overweight, with high cholesterol. And I tried this journey alone by myself with no help or assistance from anyone else, just Arlene doing her own thing, and found out that I wasn't able to keep myself in the state of health that the doctors had wanted me to be in. So I found out that there was a organization at my local church that was called Vie for God. And in this organization, what they did was they had a program somewhat similar to The Biggest Loser. And in this program, you were accountable. You had an accountability partner. And because of that, I was able to go through that program and was able to gain success in not only being a healthier person, but along the way was able to shed a lot of pounds. And to date, I have shed uh, over 50 pounds, almost 60 pounds. Might be 60 pounds. I just have to do the math. Could be wrong. I'm 125 and subtract that from 183, and you can do the math. So that's a little bit about me. And as a result of that, I began to educate myself. I began to realize that people were asking me questions. And they were asking me, Arlene, what are you doing? As they began to see something transform in me. You see, I started to transform my mind because I was at a place where I needed help. And when I went to that local organization at my church called Vie for God, I began to get that help that I needed. And I began to see how through being a part of a team and how being in a place where I was accountable to someone else, I began to change. And not only was I changing internally, I was also changing externally. So people began to notice, and of course they began to ask me, Arlene, what are you doing? And because they were asking me what I was doing, I began to share with them what I was doing. But during this time, there was something going on with children, and our First Lady, Michelle Obama, had something called Let's Move, and I would move along with a video that she had, that was put out by Beyonce, and when I began to see what was transpiring as I began to move, I saw something happening that I had not seen happen in a long time. And that was simply that I began to sweat. And because I began to sweat, I said, what's going on here? And at some point, I was prompted, and I'm going to say by my creator, to put together a program based on what I was doing. And that program was birthed and it was called Arlene Spann Sweats, and that came from the fact that I was sweating. But sweats does not stand for the fact that I was sweating. It is actually an acronym. And that acronym stands for, and I'm going to give it to you, but I'm not going to give you all the details, but that acronym is SW is to supply water, E is eliminate, A is what are you going to eliminate, additives, T, trans fats, and sodium. So at some point I began to learn and educate myself and listen in class and do just my homework concerning the things I was putting in my body. And that's how I came to learn that I needed to supply my body with water. And I did that. I learned that I needed to eliminate some things out of my diet because of what they were doing to my bodies. Not to the degree of saying, no, I'm not going to do this, and no, I'm not going to do that, but to the degree of understanding what these things were doing to my major organs. So as I began to look at what these additives were doing to my major organs, that's when I began to eliminate them and make better choices. So I wanted to give you a brief background about the system, the Arlene Spann Sweat system, to help you understand where I am today. As a result of that system, I was prompted once again to write a book. And my husband and other family members, they were always after me and pushing me and like, Arlene, you need to write a book. You should write a book, and you should write a book. And I kept saying, well, what am I going to write a book about? And they said, you know, tell about your life and tell about this and talk about various different things. So what I did was I began to write a book. And the book that I'm going to talk about today, not only did I begin to write a book, but the book was birthed out of the Arlene Spann Sweat system. And in this book, and the title, by the way, and I think I'm going to leave the title as it is, it's Sweats Equity. And the reason for that is because along my journey, I found out that there were many people out there like me. There were many people who were looking for a way to be in health and wellness, but did not know how to go about it. There were people like me who didn't want to deal with the pills and all those things and the potions and everything. They wanted to be able to eat food. And that's what I did. I was able to eat food, but in the process of doing that, I began to put together this program. And in the program, it caused me to see that others wanted to know what I was doing step by step, and from there birthed the book. Now, this book is going to be beneficial if you are a person who had, or still maybe you still have, achy knees, or you feel lethargic, or you don't have mental clarity at times, or you are short of breath from walking even a short distance, or you have no desire to run because maybe your body will give out on you because you just can't run. Or you might just be that person like I was that just need to lose a couple of pounds. Well, this book will benefit you because in there, in the pages, you're going to find some of the things that I did. And those things that I did are transferable to you as well. One of the things that I put in there is the formula, and I didn't have the formula myself at first, but when I learned it, I began to share. And one of the things in this book you're going to learn is about how to take your current body weight, whatever that body weight is, divide your current body weight in half, and then as far as giving yourself water, that's the number of ounces of water for your body weight that you will give to yourself and that you'll drink on that given day. Now, if your body weight change, then of course it's going to be whatever that current weight is. So, for example, let's use something that's easy. I like easy. I like you. You like things that are easy, like easy weight loss, easy everything. So let's use an easy number, and let's use 100. So if my weight was 100 and I divided it by 2, of course, that would be 50. Therefore, on any given day, while I'm still 100 pounds, I would be drinking at least 50 ounces of water per day. And the purpose for that is that our body is filled with toxins. And in this book, I talk a little bit about that. And what we need is to wash ourselves from the inside out. So with these toxins and while they're in our bodies, the water is going to help wash them out, flush our kidneys, all the good things that water does for us. And not only that, but the water, if you are a person who are trying to lose, the water is going to help you with your metabolism. It's going to help you to metabolize just a little bit faster or more effectively because you're drinking that water to help with your organs. And also I share with you the fact that your major organs themselves are anywhere from 60 to 70% water, and for that reason, you want to be sure that you are providing your body with the appropriate amount of water based on your weight so that you are not dehydrated. And that's one of the things that many of us are. We're walking around, we don't know it, we don't realize it, but in many cases we are dehydrated. And one of the ways to kind of check, and especially if you're not taking any medications, but kind of check your urine for color. And I know that's a little graphic, but I want you to do that. Check your urine for color and see as it begins to become more yellow in color. Maybe that's a sign for you that maybe you just need to drink a little bit more water because you could be on the road to dehydration. So some of that is in the book as well. Another thing that's in there is the fact that I'm just telling you my story. The story of how, I went to the new doctor and what her findings were, and how I had options and how I became accountable. She presented me with options, and I do want to say this. Everything that I did, it was not an easy road, so I don't want anyone to sit out there and look at me because I lost over 50 pounds and think that it was an easy road and that it's something that can be done very easily. It's not. It's something that will take time. Now, you can do some things like take fad diets and lose the weight and things, and I like to call it waste. And you can lose it quickly if you choose to. However, if you have not transformed your mind, and if you have not taken on a healthy lifestyle of eating properly, then you might find that you are putting that same weight that you took off, you might be putting it right back on. So that was a part of the sweat system, the Arlene Spann sweat system. So this book will benefit you if you have family members who are just looking for a way to eat their normal, natural foods, help their family along the way, don't have to worry about pills or anything like that. I did do smoothies and things like that, because what happens with that, smoothies help to speed up the metabolism process, meaning that you've already somewhat started the chewing process already because it's a smoothie. So that is something that you can do, and that will help you. And I tell you a little bit about stuff like that in the book too. So you want to pick that up, get some things out of the book in that way. The other thing is when you pick the book up and how it's going to be beneficial to you is that I go into details with the sweat system. And I talk a little bit about some of the dyes and things that are additives in your food. And I talk a little bit about sodium and why you want to be in control of a salt shaker yourself. Because when we get things that are pre-packaged, understand that when the people pre-package things, they have to preserve them for shelf life or preserve them so that they are able to be used in the or stay in the freezer for a longer amount of time. So therefore, they have to add ingredients to them. And one of those ingredients that they do add is the sodium nitrates. So those things are harmful to your organs, and I tell you a little bit about that as well. I also talk to you because there are some people who are like on dialysis, or you may have had congestive heart conditions, or whatever that situation might be. I also caution you to, even though you pick up my book and even though it's talking to you about health, I like to caution you to be sure that you are following whatever your doctor's recommendation is for you, that you're following that before you do anything that you see in my book. That book is on health and wellness. Yes, it is. It is my story. And will it help you? Certainly it will help you. However, I like to caution any of my clients to be careful that they listen to the recommendations that the doctors give to them first. If they're taking medications, that they follow the instructions that's given on their medications. And then, as far as focusing on the healthier lifestyle, what I usually will recommend or suggest is that you begin to put more greenery into your food choices, that you begin to eat the colors of the rainbow. So maybe you were just a meat eater or something like that at first, and maybe you were not putting the colors of the rainbow into your meal choices. So that's one of the things that I talk to you about, is to make it colorful, put some meal choices in there. And another thing, this book, and I recommend you get the book. But another thing that the book does is that it kind of breaks down for you as you're reading. And it is an easy read, not a thick book or anything like that. It's a very easy read, the book is. So it's the kind of book that you probably can finish it in, I don't know, a day or two. But it's a good read. It's a very good read. You'll find that it will be valuable to you, especially when you go over to the pages where I'm talking about my journey, because I know that there are many of you out there like me that along your journey you didn't, or you don't realize, or didn't realize that, or you thought in your mind that you at first are the only person in your situation. You may have looked at ice cream as your comforter. You may have looked at just so many things as being that go-to food. For me, if you gave me butter pecan ice cream, you can write that down. Butter pecan ice cream, if you gave that to me, that was my food of choice. If I was upset about something, butter pecan ice cream. If I needed, just stressed for whatever reason, butter pecan ice cream was the comforter for me. So I feel you. I know that you have something out there that's your food of choice. But in the book, what you're going to find is that many times when we go for the food and the food choices, we can choose a little wiser. And we can choose to see just what is behind the fact that I'm going for that butter pecan ice cream. What is it that caused me to be in that place? And sometimes that place is a place where you're remembering things of the past. Or sometimes that place is because you could be just stressed from the day-to-day work or children, or it could be stress because of lack of money, or stress because, of a spouse, or you could be stressed for any number of things. Maybe the mortgage is due and you don't have the money for that. But the bottom line is many times we look at the food as the comforter. Now, being a person of faith, I know that there's one who said the comforter will come, but when I read that, it didn't say it was going to be food. Matter of fact, he said that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word. So there are many times that we have to look at what we're saying to ourselves and realize that you matter. Realize your health matters. Realize that you are important. You have a purpose for being. And realize that you can turn your pain into your passion. So that's what this book is going to be about. The book is about my pain of being overweight. The book is about maybe your pain, whatever that pain is, and how through transforming my thinking and how through listening to good advice given by others and how focusing on the better part of wisdom that others had for me and just transforming and changing and someone coming along beside me and igniting the fire that was in me already, but just making it a little hotter so that I would go out and begin to move more. As a matter of fact, I did something, I mean, at my age, I did something that I didn't know I could do. And what I did was I was able to walk 2 5Ks. And for you all who, yay, 2 5Ks. And what that means is that I was able to run 3 miles. And that was a big deal for me because you have to understand, like many of you out there who might have the aches and pains, I was a person who at first would run out of breath going down steps. So you can understand then why walking or running a 5K is a big deal for me because of the fact that now I was able to do something that earlier in my life I wasn't able to do. So I share with you the fact that I was overweight, found that out in 2010, started to really do a little bit in 2011. In 2012, found out and took hold of a program that kind of catapulted me forward. Say that 2 times twice. And I ended up being able to transform my body, transform my thinking, and was able to lose. So as a result of that, and people asking me a lot of questions, I thought, well, if I'm going to help people and they're asking me, and now I have this desire to and passion to help them to become all that they can be, and to help them to turn their pain into passion or whatever for them, then I need to educate myself. So I found a program, a coaching program, and I went through the coaching training and took the coaching training test and all of that and passed and was able to not only go from being a person who was overweight and all that stuff, but now I'm a certified weight loss coach, a certified leadership coach, all that certification stuff, certified food manager. It's just, you know, if I'm going to help people, I feel that I should educate myself so that I'm more knowledgeable about what it is I'm doing and how I can better assist them. So that you'll find out in the book as well. I kind of give you a little glimpse at the fact that I didn't just stay on the sidelines and say, okay, let me just give you some advice. No, I wanted to be able to give you the appropriate advice. And it's not even advice. It's more like you discovering about yourself. We use advice loosely, but it's more like you discovering about you. You recognizing what's happening with you, you setting goals for you, and you understanding what it is that you want to do with your body. You understanding what it is that you're trying to accomplish. You understanding just what it is that will take you from where you are currently to where you would like to be. And all I do is I sit back, and let me tell you what I do. I just ask questions. That's what I do. I ask questions. And as you begin to read this book, as you begin to read Sweat Equity, I pray that you find in those pages information that will help you and your family. Information that will not only help you and your family, but you, your family, and your community. Not only your community, but information that will take it a step further and help your state, help your country, and help others around the world. So, as I sit here today, I want you to understand that I'm Arlene Spann. The name of the company is Arlene Spann Sweats. I took my pain of being overweight, pre-diabetic, with high cholesterol. I turned it into a passion so that I'm better able to help women, men, boys, and girls become a healthier you today. And if you want to contact me, you can contact me at www.arlenespansweats. You can reach me by email at arlenesweats@gmail.com. You can even reach me via the telephone at 866-432-6896 or 240-354-9174. And I'm going to give you something, another acronym, as I come to a close. And that acronym is SOAR. And what do you mean by SOAR, Arlene? I mean that in order for you to soar and be the person that you want to be as far as your health is concerned, how you can be a healthier you today, you're going to want to soar. And SOAR is C, that's right, outstanding, achievable results. With the Arlene Spann Sweats, the goal is that you, for you, that you will see outstanding, achievable results as you begin to embrace what you read in the book, as you begin to take hold of the principles, as you begin to supply your body with water, as you begin to eliminate certain additives, trans fats, and sodium. My prayer is that you will soar. Again, this is Arlene Spann of Arlene Spann Sweats saying to you, now go out and get the book. Go out and get the book. It's going to be on Amazon. It's called Sweat Equity, and I am Arlene Spann Sweats. Thank you, and have a pleasant life. Have a good life, and eat well. Eat the rainbow. Oh, I'm being silly now, but have yourself a good, healthy life so that you can be a healthier you today. Again, Arlene Spann of Arlene Spann Sweats.